gotta get you the fuck out of Dodge, man. We're going to Vegas tonight.
What are you talking about, Vegas?
Vegas, baby, Vegas.
Hey everybody, welcome back, subscribers, and to those individuals who just happen to be stopping by and wondering what this madness is all about. Hey, welcome to you guys as well. Anyway, in this little segment, what I'm going to do is go over the requirements, the personal requirements I have for an effective strategy. Basically what this comes down to is, hang on a second, let me go ahead and pull up a file. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I don't know if you can see that page on your screen, but anyway, I'm going to go over it. Number one, most important for me, is it has to be simple. One that anybody can do with ease. Now, with me, a little personal story, I had an incident that happened in the Marine Corps that kept me from perhaps staying focused all the time. I'm not saying I have ADHD or anything like that, but for those individuals who have an easy distraction level, this could be the perfect strategy for you, and this is what I aim for in all the strategies that I make money on. So anyway, having said that, it has to be simple. Number two, like the stock market, that has its ups and downs, just like a casino does, just like your winnings will, just like a blackjack player is going to be winning, and the dealer's going to be winning, or in craps, for example, you're going to have little sections where you're going to have hot tables and cold tables. It must be able to sustain that. It must be able to carry through with that and consistently show a chart similar to a very strong stock as it's going up. I want something that's going to be like an elevator effect, and maybe have a slight plateau, just like a stock market, and then take off again with limited time for it to be recovered. And that's important for any strategy that I work with. If you wish to choose one that has more fluctuation and stuff over time, using hedge bets or anything like that, or pushing and pressing, then this could be a good one for you as well. I personally can't handle that. I sometimes get forgetful, and for some reason with me, I used to in the past be very good with math and critical thinking and analyzation, and today I can still do the critical thinking and the analyzation, but for some reason it's affected my ability to do math quick on the spot. I just can't do it. And that's another good reason this strategy, or I try to develop strategies that's easy for everybody. I was able to achieve that with my roulette, and now I'm delving more, as you can see, more into my crap strategies. And this again is developing over time. So anyway, it must be able to start again with a relatively small starting bankroll that again gives it the ability to build upon over time, that can bring you to higher tiers of betting level on house money. And this to me is important, is to get on house money as quick as possible. And the reason why that house money now doesn't become scared money to those people who might consider their gambling scared money. I tell everybody, look, if you have scared money, if you have bills at home, if you have things that you need to take care of, in my personal belief, that becomes a hindrance on your ability to make the proper decisions. Make them without emotion. The other important thing that I require in a strategy is the person to have discipline. I want it to be able to work like a machine. I want it to be able to work in such a way that it takes little thinking process. Because again, there are distractions that happen all throughout the casino, and it's built that way. It's designed that way through the noise. For example, slot machines, which I never play, but on one occasion I had one just screaming out at me, and I had to go play it, and I won. I put $5 in, and I think I won $80 or whatever it was. So that was kind of cool with me. But those games, for example, are set up with the frequencies of sound and the visual stimulation to keep the dopamine in your brain going. And also, when it comes to dopamine, it has to do with the small winnings. So let's think psychologically on what happens on a person when they gamble. All right, they are at the threshold to where it gives you little bits and pieces You might be playing along, and they're thinking, okay, we need to throw this guy a bone, so they're giving you a small little win, and the person's thinking, yeah, I just won. Let's keep going. That is what they wanted to create in these games. It's a psychological game. All these games are built up psychologically to screw with your heads. And that's something that the person must be able to control. Control is the most important thing that any professional gambler has to overachieve in order to be successful. They must not have any emotion involved in any decision they make. And that's why getting on house money becomes an easier strategy, because it creates the positive feeling in your body that, yeah, I'm winning. But you must control the fact that you must not think to yourself, I need to keep winning. That's important. So when I come up with a strategy for myself to share with other people, it must be one that can bring that down. I know when it's effective when I can sit back and just think, this is so easy, a 5-year-old can do it. And when you start thinking that way about a strategy as I do, it turns it into a machine. And once you get comfortable with that machine, after you're thinking, hey, this is winning, this is great, pretty soon it becomes boring. I want it to become something that's boring, so you can work it comfortably, and that I can work it comfortably without too much stress. I guess with me and in my brain, I can't take stress very well. And that's, a lot of people can't. A lot of people, again, get distracted. So that's why it must start with a relatively small bankroll, so it alleviates that stress within you. Okay. The other determining factor I have is one that won't dip into the session 2 bankroll too much at all. That's very important. Okay. I don't want to promote or use a strategy myself that's going to completely wipe out your bankroll. That's why I tell people, look, test this for yourself. Spend at least 4 hours. And I say that because I want everybody to go through this and make your first $1,000 and have that hurrah moment where you can sit back and say, yes, it worked. Okay, I want you to do that. And then I want you to do it again. It's only going to take literally 3 hours, or I'm sorry, let's take that back. It's going to take about, based on where I'm at right now, relatively about 7 hours for you to achieve your $1,000 mark. So you know what? Get a program. Use the one I do. Keep the window open, and go about your day and come back and play it for 10 minutes a day. That's all it takes. At this level, 10 minutes a day, and that's another reason why I called my channel 10 Minutes to Roulette Fortune originally, and now 10 Minutes to Craps and Roulette Fortune. Is because I wanted a strategy that's going to allow me to sit down for 10 minutes a day, and over time, a short amount of time, basically an hour and a half, be able to complete that and make my $1,000 goal. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is determining a bankroll for a strategy. Okay, a strategy that will create its own bankroll, for the most part, the first trip, leaving the first trip expense as the only expense needed to use in order to build this program. When I develop a strategy as well, I want it to be something that I can make money on. Because with me, and I'd hope you would also have the same mindset, because it's very important for a successful professional gambler, is to be able to, once again, have it sustain itself over time and get you in-house money quickest. Therefore, with any strategy that I work with, my whole objective with that new strategy is to have that first trip paid for and have money left over for my bankroll, which I've already brought, which can build upon that bankroll. That's important. If you want to go on a trip and have it all paid for, so far in my assessments of this strategy, it's going to be effective if you have the proper bankroll. So you can be one of those people that go to Las Vegas and you can say, hey, you know what? I came home a winner. And they're going to say, wow, cool. Why? is because currently where I'm at right now, I'm on house money and I've paid for my entire trip. That is the goal that I have for any strategy. I also want a strategy that allows for me technically to, after 3 trips, roughly 2 trips is what I aim for the most, is to be able to earn enough money in that amount of time so I can work at the next tier level. Okay, when a person's first starting out, I would suggest for their own comfort level and to get them to the level that they are comfortable with, okay, to start off at the 3s category. The same way with my craps. I tell people in some instances, hey, you can start off at the penny level. You can start off at the nickel level and work your way up, as I do. I didn't do that, unfortunately, in my last trip because I was overconfident and I had expelled, for the most part, my bankroll. I would have gone because of other expenses I had. You know, last year I had to put a roof on the house, and I paid off a good chunk of change on my car from my winnings that I've accumulated over periods of time using both my 4 and 2, which is this is a development upon. This is an evolution of my 4 and 2 process. Okay, between that and my roulette, I did pretty well. And other, I dibble and dabble in other things. I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, so I also wanted a strategy that can achieve the bankroll requirements of paying for that trip or getting into house money. I wanted to be able to achieve that in 8 or 9 hours based on 10 minutes of online play or whatever. Why? Is I want to be able to quickly, within that 3-day period, right? And this is what I generally go with, is 3 days at a time. And I play about 8 or 9 hours a day, depending on, what's going on. If I have other things or, other plans I have, then it might be reduced. But my goal generally is to treat it like a business and do it 8, 9 hours a day and grind it out. I want to, again, grind it out and have it a consistent win instead of having these highs and lows of, for example, a bad stock. All right. I'm a day trader as well, so that kind of is the answer behind what I didn't want to tell you, but that's how I came up with the analogy of a good stock, and it's very, very true in this situation. Okay. So that's important. So currently, where am I at with my standings? Okay. Basically, let's talk about my expenses. Generally, when I go to a casino, it costs me about $250 for a plane ride there, round trip. You can find deals all over the place. And considering where I stay, I like generally keeping at $600 for my hotel, my plane, and for my food. Again, with me, I'm just sleeping in the hotel. I don't really need a nice place, but I don't stay in a freaking dump. Now, if where you are at financially after you save up, if you're considering doing this, yeah, like myself, when I first started with my roulette, I went down and stayed in a shithole. I didn't care. And currently, if I were to do that right now, I wouldn't care. But I know with me, I'm at the point right now, based on other things, that I can go ahead and stay in a nicer hotel. It puts me closer. But you know what? If you have to go jump in a cab for $5 or wherever, to get there, that's fine. You know what? Just add that as another expense. So you can actually diminish that to about $450 if you wanted to. Okay, now with this one, my starting bankroll that I normally go to a casino with is generally about $2,000. That is part of a backup. Now with me, when I go with a bankroll, I wanted to be able to divide it up into 3 different sessions. For example, at the 5s level, it takes roughly $525 to start at the 5s level. Okay, that times 3 is going to be about $1,200. All right. Now, if you're starting at the 3s level, which is where I really suggest everybody to start with to build that confidence, so you're not freaked out when you sit in front of a console or get at a craps table, which of course in this situation at the 3s you can't do unless you go on a bird game or whatever, which I don't think they have many of anymore. And that bankroll you're going to need is about $600 because it's going to take you roughly $195 for that session at the 3s. Okay. with perhaps a little dipping into more of the second one. Again, I don't want a strategy that's going to burn out a complete bankroll, but then again, I want to have something to where I have a second or a third backup. Now, when it comes to this strategy, what I'm seeing is I only need 2 sessions to truly build it up, which would bring it down to about, I don't know, $600 roughly, or $800, $800. Okay, at that, you know, so it's something to keep in mind too. Okay, currently I'm at $3,000 winnings between my races. Now, in thinking about it, I might go ahead and change it to each journey is going to be a trip, each trip is going to be a day, and each session is going to be an hour. And that's how I want to break it down for myself and to share with you. Okay, so right now, I'm sitting at $1,200 of house money. And that's the goal of any strategy, is I want to get on house money the quickest, the fastest, and have it be able to sustain itself. So right now, if I were to think about it, I'm at $600 of house money, and my trip is paid for. Or basically, I have $2,400, and this is where I'm thinking of. So hold with me on this, okay? Because right now I have $2,400 that allows me to bring it to the next tier with my first original bankroll and house money. And that's the whole idea of my evolution of any strategy, and working it is one that can take a portion of the previous time's winnings to add to my original bankroll, or be able to again create something that's going to allow an individual to pay for its entire trip. Okay, so that's something to think about going on. Excuse me. I think I explained everything. Perhaps I left something out, and if I get a fleeting thought in my mind, I might go ahead and share that. But anyway, having said that, just know that my videos are going to be coming out. I might release them all now. I don't know. I have other things I need to do today. I need to get my files organized, and I have a later on appointment I have to take care of. So anyway, that's where I'm at today. Again, slowly I'm going to be evolving this, and then after these are released, I'm sorry, right now currently in my spare time, I'm going to be working on the adjustment I have that was revealed in my teaser alert. All right, my teaser revealed, that's going to help me to determine whether or not that's going to be a comfortable level to go with at the 5s level. Right, I want to keep it at the 5s level, you know, for my own comfort level, based on the 2 rolls at the 25s level, and then off until 7, and then at the 100s level, either 1 roll after the point, and that's what I mean by 2 rolls. It's going to be after the point, because the first point is going to be the come out roll after the 7. Now again, if it's the 3, 4, 10. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it now. Go ahead and check out that video, please. I'm going to go ahead and link it here. I need to go. So anyway, with that in mind, hey, thanks for stopping by. And if you haven't done so, please go and like and subscribe. I'm not saying that to build a channel. I'm here to build it for people that want to learn something and follow along on my journey of my exploration of this strategy. You know, and with that, by hitting the notification bell, or hitting it, or slamming it, or whatever creative way you want to call it, or people call it on YouTube, it's going to allow you to get the notifications of my new updates or new videos going on from here. So anyway, having said that, I don't really care about making money on YouTube. If it eventually happens, cool. If it gets me a dinner a month, cool. You know, if it eventually over time pays for a trip, you know, cool. If not, that's cool too. But anyway, with that in mind, I'm rambling again. Hey, you guys have a great day and a better tomorrow. Take it easy.